Hello students, this is video 4 of gametogenesis. So in the last video, we talked about the mature structure of the spermatozoon. We talked about the different kinds of sperm pathologies and then the functions of the spermatozoon. Today, I have divided my video presentation into 4 sections. First is the role of subtesticular cells in spermatogenesis. Second is the hormonal control or regulation of spermatogenesis. Third and fourth sections deals with spermiation and sperm maturation. So the first topic that we'll be covering today is the role of subtesticular cells or the germ cell somatic cell interaction. First of all, what is a subtesticular cell? Subtesticular cells are those somatic cells which are present in the testes, which have some role to play in spermatogenesis. They are of two types. First one is the Sertoli cells, which are also called as the sustentacular cells, whereas the second type is the Leydig cells or the interstitial cells. You are quite familiar with this photograph. Here you can see the Leydig cells are present between in the connective tissue present between the seminiferous tubules, whereas the Sertoli cells are present inside the seminiferous tubules along with the different stages of spermatogenesis that are occurring. So first we'll talk about the Sertoli cells. The Sertoli cell is named after its discoverer Enrico Sertoli, and it is also called as a nurse cell or a sustentacular cell, and is part of the seminiferous tubules and helps in spermatogenesis. First of all, it is non-spermatogenic cell. That means it does not give rise to sperms. Second, it is tall, it is columnar, it is a phagocytic cell. So it can consume any extraneous products. Its cytoplasm extends from the basement membrane to the lumen of the seminiferous tubule, and there are various junctional complexes in the cytoplasmic extensions. So the Sertoli cells are linked by junctions with other kinds of cells present in the seminiferous tubules. The nucleus is triangular or ovoid in shape with a very prominent nucleolus and a homogeneous chromatin. There is moderate number of mitochondria present, less number of rough endoplasmic reticulum, and highly ordered smooth endoplasmic reticulum. So we know, because there is a highly ordered smooth endoplasmic reticulum, that these cells are quite active in lipid metabolism. The Sertoli cells are derived from the coelomic epithelium along with other somatic cells of the testes. The Sertoli cells differentiate, and their differentiation is regulated by the presence of Y chromosome. The Sertoli cell also regulates the differentiation of the Leydig cells. So only if the Y chromosome is present in the genome of the growing embryo, the Sertoli cells are differentiated, and they then help in the differentiation of the Leydig cells. The Sertoli cells, they direct the testis morphogenesis, that means the formation and the structure of the testes. They organize the testis cord formation. They establish testis vasculature, that means they establish the various kinds of blood vessels which are supplying the testis, and they also induce the differentiation of the peritubular myoid cells, and the fetal Leydig cells. At puberty, the Sertoli cells cease to proliferate and differentiate. So, when an organism reaches puberty, Sertoli cells no longer divide and differentiate. What are the major functions? First of all, they give structure to the seminiferous tubules. They maintain the environment which is necessary for the development and maturation of the sperms. This is done by the maintenance of a blood testis barrier. And they secrete many substances which initiate meiosis during the process of spermatogenesis. They help in nourishing the developing sperm cells. That is why they are also called as mother cells or nurse cells. As we discussed during the process of spermatogenesis, the heads of several mature sperms are embedded in the cytoplasmic pockets of the Sertoli cells. The Sertoli cells also secrete a nutritive fluid. This fluid collects in the lumen of the seminiferous tubules and it bathes the germ cells, it bathes the sperm cells during their differentiation and also carries the sperms out of the testes. They also secrete androgen binding protein. We'll be discussing this later on. This protein's function is to concentrate testosterone. The testosterone is concentrated in close proximity to the gametes. Now, this testosterone is needed in very high quantities so as to maintain the reproductive tract, and this androgen binding protein allows to concentrate this testosterone to a higher extent so that fertility is maintained. Sertoli cells also act as phagocytes. Whatever extra cytoplasm which is called as the residual cytoplasm is shed by the sperm during spermatogenesis, that is taken up by or consumed by the Sertoli cells. Now we know that the cells are translocated from the basement membrane towards the lumen. So they are moving slowly away from the basement membrane towards the lumen and are dividing and differentiating through this process. This movement of the cells, this translocation of the cells takes place due to the change in the conformation of the Sertoli cells. The Sertoli cells will change their shape at this margin and this margin. These are the lateral margins, and when they change their shape, these cells go lower, these cells go further lower towards the lumen of the seminiferous tubules. Hence, the Sertoli cells are able to control the rate of spermatogenesis. Now, the Sertoli cells also secrete various kinds of hormones, particularly a polypeptide hormone which is called as inhibin. This hormone controls the pituitary gland, which further controls the rate of spermatogenesis. Sertoli cells also secrete anti-Mullerian hormone, which helps in the deterioration of the Mullerian duct. So in males, there is no need of the Mullerian duct, so that deterioration is brought about by the anti-Mullerian hormone secreted by the Sertoli cells. The Sertoli cells also protect the spermatids from the immune system by maintenance of a blood testis barrier. Other substances which are secreted by the Sertoli cells include the ATS related molecule or ERM transcription factor, which is needed for the maintenance of the spermatogonia in the adult testis. They also secrete transferrin, which is a blood plasma protein for iron delivery. The second kind of cells which are present in the testes and have some control over spermatogenesis are the Leydig cells. The Leydig cells are named after the scientist Franz von Leydig. It is a polyhedral epithelioid cell. So it is epithelial tissue cell having multiple shapes. It has a single eccentrically located nucleus. So the nucleus is located towards the side, as you can see here. Now each nucleus contains 1 to 3 prominent nucleolus or nucleoli and large amounts of darkly staining peripheral heterochromatin. The cytoplasm is acidophilic and contains numerous lipid droplets and large amounts of smooth endoplasmic reticulum. So like the Sertoli cells, Leydig cells are also rich in smooth endoplasmic reticulum, which plays a role in lipid metabolism. There are also several mitochondria present in the cytoplasm. Now, how do the development of the Leydig cells occur? The Leydig cells differentiate in the postnatal testes and are quiescent until puberty. So until puberty, they do not function. They are quiescent in a dormant stage. Before them, there is a fetal type Leydig cells present from the 8th week to the 20th week of gestation, which produce some kind of testosterone for the masculization of a male fetus. So students, you have to understand there are two types of Leydig cells. First is the fetal type of Leydig cells, which are present in the embryo, and then there is the adult type of Leydig cells. In the embryo, there is requirement for production of testosterone that is done by the fetal type. The embryo or the fetus, there should be development of some secondary sexual characters that is brought about by the testosterone produced by the fetal type of Leydig cells. Whereas the adult types is present in the male organism after birth, but they are in a dormant stage until puberty. Now, what is the function of the Leydig cells? First of all, very important, they release the class of hormones which are called as androgens. They are steroid hormones having 19 carbon residues. Androgens include testosterone, androstenedione, dehydroepiandrosterone or DHEA. This all is produced only after the Leydig cells are stimulated by the presence of luteinizing hormone secreted by the pituitary. The luteinizing hormone is also called as the ICSH or the interstitial cell stimulating hormone in males, because the other name of Leydig cells is interstitial cells. So LH also has a alternative name, that is the interstitial cell stimulating hormone. When there is an increase in LH, it increases the cholesterol desmolase activity. The cholesterol desmolase is an enzyme which is associated with conversion of cholesterol to pregnenolone. This leads to testosterone synthesis and its secretion by the Leydig cells. Now next we come to the hormonal control or regulation of spermatogenesis. The first step is the hypothalamus releases the gonadotropic releasing hormone. This gonadotropic releasing hormone stimulates the anterior pituitary, which then secretes FSH and LH. FSH is follicle stimulating hormone and LH is luteinizing hormone or ICSH, which is the interstitial cell stimulating hormone. Now the second step is the LH will stimulate the Leydig cells to release testosterone. and the FSH will stimulate the Sertoli cells to release the ABP or the androgen binding protein. The testosterone is released by the Leydig cells. It binds with the androgen binding protein. This helps to keep the testosterone at quite a high level inside the seminiferous tubules. Now, there is a negative feedback control that is there. This negative feedback control can occur by two processes. First is the excess of testosterone. When there is excess of testosterone, this will inhibit the pituitary, which will stop producing the FSH and the LH. Also, the inhibin is released by the Sertoli cells, which again exerts a negative feedback control. It stops the release of FSH. The testosterone not only stops the production of FSH and LH if present in excess, it also affects the production of gonadotropic releasing hormone from the hypothalamus. So at the onset of puberty, the hypothalamus begins secreting high pulses of gonadotropic releasing hormone. In response to that, the pituitary secretes the FSH and the LH. The LH enters the testes, stimulates the interstitial or the Leydig cells, and releases testosterone into the testes and the blood. The FSH will also enter the testes, and it stimulates the Sertoli cells, which help to nourish the sperm cells and facilitate the spermatogenesis. The Sertoli cells release ABP or androgen binding protein, which binds with the testosterone and keeps its concentration quite high. The testosterone is the hormone which is responsible for all the secondary sexual characters that develop in the male during adolescence. It stimulates spermatogenesis. The secondary sexual characteristics include the deepening of the voice, the growth of facial, axillary and pubic hair, etc. The negative feedback system occurs in the male with rising levels of testosterone, which act on the hypothalamus and the anterior pituitary to inhibit the release of gonadotropin releasing hormone, FSH and LH. The Sertoli cells also produce the hormone inhibin, which is released into the blood when the sperm count is too high. This inhibits the release of gonadotropin releasing hormone, FSH, which will cause spermatogenesis to slow down. If the sperm count reaches 20 million per ml, the Sertoli cells will again stop the release of inhibin, allowing the spermatogenesis to continue, so the sperm count will go back to normal. Next, we'll be talking about two terms. First is spermiation and second is sperm maturation. Now, during the spermatogonial divisions, we discussed that the cytokinesis is not complete. Rather, all the cells are present in a syncytium where each cell communicates with each other. Ions and molecules readily pass through the intercellular bridges and each cohort matures synchronously. Now, the mature spermatozoa are released from the Sertoli cells into the lumen of the seminiferous tubules by a process called spermiation, which removes the excess unnecessary cytoplasm and organelles. So, what is spermiation? It is the process of removal of the residual cytoplasm and unused organelles from the spermatozoon. After spermiation, the resulting spermatozoa that are formed still lack motility. They cannot move. So they are still sterile. These non-motile spermatozoa are then transported to the epididymis. This transportation occurs by a fluid which is secreted by the Sertoli cells with the help of the peristaltic contractions. When these spermatozoa are present in the epididymis, they undergo many important physiological, morphological, and biochemical changes. This includes modification of the acrosome of the sperm and also the loss of the cytoplasm, and these all changes are called as sperm maturation. So sperm maturation occurs in the epididymis. These modifications help to make the sperm motile. The sperm cell also acquires new proteins on its surface, while the existing proteins may be modified, may be lost, or redistributed. The carbohydrates which are present on the surface proteins are also modified. Those carbohydrates are called as glycoproteins. So their configuration also changes. So in epididymis, the sperm now becomes motile. However, students, you need to remember, even though the sperm has become motile, it will not start moving. The mature spermatozoa move through the reproductive system via muscle contractions of the reproductive tract rather than by the spermatozoon's own motility. So they do not use their own axial filament or tail for the movement. They are transported by the muscle contractions of the reproductive tract. At this point of time, the sperm still have a glycoprotein coat over the acrosome, which prevents the sperm from fertilizing the egg. Once the sperm enters into the female reproductive tract, further changes takes place, which are called as capacitation, which makes the sperms capable of fertilizing the egg. So there are three terms that we have learnt about till now. First is spermiation. Spermiation is loss of extra unused residual cytoplasm and organelles from the spermatozoon. Second term is sperm. So the spermiation occurs in the seminiferous tubule itself. Second term is sperm maturation. This occurs in the epididymis because till now the sperms are immotile, unable to move. After sperm maturation, the sperms become motile and there is a modification of the cell surface glycoproteins also. Still, the sperms do not move. They are transported by the male reproductive tract through muscular movements. Up till now also, the sperm is unable to fertilize the egg. There needs to be further changes in the sperm. Those further changes occur only when the sperm enters the female reproductive tract, and those changes are called as the capacitation, which makes the sperms capable of fertilizing the egg. So with this we conclude spermatogenesis. In spermatogenesis, we covered the basic phases of spermatogenesis, the structure of the mature spermatozoon, sperm pathologies, functions of the sperm, then role of subtesticular cells, then hormonal regulation of spermatogenesis. Then we covered spermiation and sperm maturation. In the next video, we'll be talking about the second type of gametogenesis, that is oogenesis. These are the references that I covered in this video presentation. Thank you.